All right, well, welcome to a Sunday live stream with Retro Combs. This is going to be quite interesting because I am broadcasting to three separate pages right now, and I'm already getting errors. This is just wild. But I have YouTube that I am streaming to, which is the first one. I have Twitch, so something's going on over at Twitch, I do believe, so that's happening over there. But then here's what's interesting. It says that I am broadcasting on Facebook. However, the interesting thing is I checked my Facebook page, I see nothing. So I'm sure there's some place where I'm supposed to make this stream go live on top of everything else I'm doing. This is all just me trying to, again, try and figure out how to use, and let me get all my things here, how to use this YOLO box right here. I will figure it out eventually, but it is coming with a little bit of a learning curve, which is fine. It says, it's interesting too, because it says on YouTube, it's unable to connect, but boy, it sure looks like it's connected, even though on here it says it's unable to connect. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But again, it does have a little bit of a bit rate, low bit rate, so let me know what's going on there. That's odd because what I'm doing is I'm using a service, so I'm transmitting just one stream to that service, and then that service is multicasting it out to three other areas. So I'm not sure why YouTube would get a different stream than everybody else, which leads me to come back to think that there is something very odd going on with YouTube and my account, since everything else seems to be fine. Again, I'm really interested because this says my YouTube is unable to connect. It says it's not able to connect to my YouTube account. I don't understand it. And now I've got an excellent connection. So let me know if we get any jitters as you all are watching. Please let me know sound, video, how does it look, and let me know where you are watching. I assume that we may have somebody, well, the only chat I can see right now, and I've got to figure that out. I think I'm going to give up this whole multi-streaming to other areas. I think the next live stream will just be to YouTube. I think that's going to be easier and that's going to be better. But I did kind of want to see how this service works. The YOLO Live service is what I'm using. But if it's telling me it's unable to connect to YouTube, but yet I'm streaming to YouTube, that's just odd. Okay, let me just look here. Let me show you what I'm trying to do here as well. Well, I don't want to show you because there's some sensitive items on screen, but what I'm trying to do is figure out if there is a, like a streaming page on Facebook that will get me my live stream center so I can see if I can figure out where this is coming from. That's not what I want. So that's not here. Let me go to live. If I go to live here, nope, that's showing somebody else's live video, not my live video. How do I get to, again, on Facebook is what I'm looking at. Let me go here to my page. If I go over here and I bounce to live, it says no videos to show. If I pull up my professional dashboard, Ad Center, Inspirational Hub, events. Maybe it's an event. Is it an event? Nope, that's create an event, so that's not it. I told you this would be a little bit of an ad hoc and a little prepared, guys, and I'll see who's watching here in just a minute, but I'll be back in just a second. Let me just see if I can figure this out. I appreciate you guys. Here's see more. Let's see. Nope, Lead Center. Appreciate you putting up with a little bit of my nonsense here as I try and figure this out. I give up. I don't see anything in Facebook that shows you your live stream. Let me do a quick search. Facebook live stream. Control panel, we'll call it that. I don't know what everybody calls it something different. So the Facebook live producer is what I'm looking for. Clicking, let's see, you can access it by going to your profile page or group and clicking live video. From there you can set up I checked that. There is nothing there for me to click. So something is going on. Something is going on here. Let me go back to my home. I'll check one more time, see if maybe I missed something. Let's go here. There's my page. Let's go to live, and there's nothing there at all. So Evidently, if Facebook, if there is a live stream on Facebook, I have not found it. Okay, so I'm giving up. So let me go back, make sure everything else is working. Again, very odd that it says it's not streaming to YouTube, but it is. We know it is because it's working, and I have an excellent connection, or I did, and now the stream is low again. So who knows what's going on? Let me open up my widget here. It's good enough. Okay, so again, let me know if things are looking a little hinky over there. Evil J, I'm glad you're going to stay in the chat room on YouTube because that's where I will be. I'm going to close up a couple of windows here, get rid of some bandwidth. Not that it should matter, but just to make sure. So there's about 6 of you joining. I appreciate it. Let's see who we have joining us. It looks like Taro was online. And again, I don't think I have, I don't have the opportunity to put chats on screen again. Sorry about that, guys. This is why I think I'm just going to stick with YouTube. It just makes everything easier instead of multi-streaming to a lot of different places. So I suspect that's what I'll be doing in the future. Taro was here 2 hours ago. I don't know if he's still here. We'll find out as we get going here. Mislov is here or was here. We'll see if he's here. Here's my executive producer. We also have Evil J in the room. We have, oh, there's Taro again. Good. Evil J, Evil J. It's a small group today. I think I caught a lot of you off guard. Dave is here. Hey, Dave, good to have you here. And I think that is it. So actually, it's bumped up. There's 11 of you. So as you jump into the stream, please drop in the chat. Let me know you are here. And again, welcome to the Friendliest Chat on YouTube at this particular time where we've got a good group of Retrocombians who will make you feel welcome. Okay, so here's what we want to do today. I want to give a shot. I wanted to try something. Well, first of all, as you saw in the thumbnail, I can bring up the thumbnail. Let me do that. As you saw in the thumbnail, I want to install Twister OS. Now, if you're not familiar with Twister OS is an alternative Raspberry Pi operating system that appears to be like a fork of Raspbian OS. Hey, Xander, good to have you here. And what interested me in it is it gives you a lot more functionality out of the box. It also installs some tools that I always have to install manually myself whenever I load up a Raspbian OS. And it also lets you theme it or skin it so that it looks like other operating systems. So the goal is we're going to see if we can do that, but we're going to take a little bit of a different spin. What we're going to do is we're not just going to use my Mac over here to install it. I actually want to use Raspbian to download Twister OS and install it on an SD card and put it back in here. So we're going to do all of this just with the Raspberry Pi 500. We're not going to be using a PC, a Mac, or Linux to supplement to build our SD card or to burn it. We're going to do it all from Raspbian OS. There's probably a lot of people out there who didn't even know that that was possible, but and maybe there are some who did, but we are going to do that today. So that's the plan. And what I've done to get us started, and I will be looking in chat if you have something you want to ask about it, is I loaded up another OS just so you could see something different. And that OS is, let me go ahead and log in here. No, I don't want to shut down. Cancel that. It is Ambien. So if you've not had a chance to see Ambien. Isn't that a drug, Ambien? Armbian. There we go. I have loaded up Armbian, which is the universal operating system. And you can see it looks a little bit different than Raspbian OS. It does include a lot more tools as well. It's more of a traditional Debian-based Linux environment. So you'll see some of the common things that you're familiar with. You'll see graphics automatically installed with GNU, Image, or GIMP. You'll see a bunch of additional accessories here. You have a couple of different browsers. You have Chromium, Firefox. It also comes with FileZilla, PuTTY, so if you want to do some SSHing. It also comes with a full install of LibreOffice, so if you're looking for that. So I just wanted one in here to show, and actually we're going to be nuking this SD card. This is what's on the SD card now that we're going to nuke with Raspbian OS. So that's a good question. That could be the Cinnamon desktop. I am not sure. If you want to check that out, check Armbian. This is the default Armbian. I did not choose the XFCE version. I went for the full, since this is the Raspberry 500 and we have more power, we can do more of these robust operating systems with all these visual graphics and everything. But there's a lot of really cool stuff on here, but I am going to be nuking this SD card, but I did want to show you that. What I will be using is this SD card right here. which includes Raspbian OS on it right now, and it's all configured for the Raspberry Pi 500. So we'll be plugging that in. I have everything I think I need here. I have an SD card reader that we can plug into the back that's USB. I have a mouse. I did buy a new mouse. I was going to get the Raspberry Pi mouse, but I decided to get this mouse right here. It's actually pretty nice. It's got these little LEDs and you can change it. It's a lot of fun. It's a good mouse. I like it. It's the Senda. I'll be doing a little video on that on the tech channel. Maybe it may just stay. I'm doing a little review at Amazon for that, so it may just stay there. So I've also got some paper here and a pen just in case we have to write something down. You never know we have to write something. And of course I've got my Yellow Deck controls here so that I can quickly swap back and forth. So, you want me to bring up the terminal and do fast fetch? I hope it's loaded. I don't know if fast fetch is actually loaded. Let's see what we have on here. So let me bring up the terminal. Oh, I gotta remember which keyboard I am. There we go. Terminal. Oh, it uses Terminator for the Terminator. Terminator for the terminal. Let's see if NeoFetch is on here or Fast Fetch. Which one do we have? NeoFetch is not on here. Fast Fetch. Let's see if it's on there. It is not. Sudo apt install. We'll do this quickly. Fast Fetch. What do we have here? Boom. Let's see if we can do this. I'm doing this live, folks. I think I just butchered the password. Yep. Looks like Fast Fetch isn't on in the repository. Let me see if NeoFetch is still in here. Although NeoFetch, as I understand it, has been deprecated. It's no longer being, there we go. It's no longer being maintained. So Fast Fetch is what everybody wants to do. But, we'll use one or the other. Whoops. Type that wrong. There we go. NeoFetch. Let's see what we have for the chat room if I can type. All right, there we go. Bookworm, Raspberry, Cinnamon 5.6.8. Good catch. Nice one. Hey, Xander, thank you so much. And I'm sorry I can't put it up on screen. Xander just sent a very kind super chat. Thank you for that, Xander. Hey, Xander, do me a favor. Sorry about that. Had to use the cough button. Do me a favor. Send me an email at retrocombs@icloud.com. And you have been very generous the last couple of live streams with your gifts. I'd like to gift you a Discord, even though you're not a member of the channel officially. I would like to give you access to the Discord. So send me your email that I can use on Discord, Xander, or if you're on Discord with an account, send that to me. And you can find me. I'm just RetroCombs on Discord. So look for me there, and we'll see if we can get you in the chat. Thank you so much for that, Xander. I appreciate it. So there we go. So now we know what Armbian uses as the default desktop environment. Cinnamon 5.6.8. Okay, now that we know all that, let's nuke it. Let's get rid of it. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to, well, let me go back. I need to shut down the Raspberry Pi 5. Let's go ahead and do that. It probably wouldn't matter how I did it, but I am going to shut it down properly. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go through the process here. It is a nice looking OS for the Raspberry Pi. I will say that. Let's go ahead and shut that down. Hey, Jamie's here. Jamie, my other executive producer. Good to have you here, Jamie. So thanks for popping in. So now what we're going to do is and I've got to start using my buttons here. We are going to, looks like our power is off. I'm going to pull out the SD card right here. So this is just a little 32 gigabyte SanDisk, which is fine. You know, the one disappointment about the Raspberry Pi 500 is that it does not support the M2 SSDs like the Raspberry Pi 5. That was a miss. I don't know why they did that. It would have been nice to have had SSD somehow capable. I'm sure somebody will come out with something. I think I saw online where somebody has figured out how to solder the connectors on there, but I'm not sure it would fit in the case or anything. But anyway, so we'll be using SD cards. So here is the Raspberry Pi SD card. There we go. SD card that came with the Raspberry Pi 500, already updated with Raspbian OS, or it wasn't updated. It was Raspbian OS was installed, but I did have to update it. So all the updates are here. So now we're going to go ahead and fire that up. Let me go back over here. Get a drink of my beverage here. I'm getting a little tickle in my throat. There we go. Got about 9 of you hanging in there. Appreciate you joining. It looks like we've, even though we're getting some warnings over here, looks like our streams are hanging in there. Let me check over here on YOLOcast and see if it ever corrected its error. Yeah, still says it's unable to connect to YouTube. So don't know what's going on there, YOLO Live, but I am connected, and I'm glad I am. Looks like Twitch is still live over here. Over on Twitch, we have 1 viewer, I think, and that would be Evil J. Thank you, Evil J, for keeping my Twitch stream. Again, I think probably going forward, we will just be using our YouTube channel, I'm thinking. So don't get too comfortable over there in Twitch there, Evil J. Okay, so this is, oh, look, I already have some updates. Check this out. Now, we will not be going through the updates. I do have those, but this is Raspbian OS, and one of the things you'll notice immediately that it includes are 2 apps, PiApps and PiKiss. These are 2 that I install by default. If you have a Raspberry Pi and you use the desktop environment, you must ensure that you install those apps. I did not do a good job of putting links in this live stream. However, when I'm done, I'll go back and get caught up and I'll put some links in here. I'm actually also thinking about cutting this video up into a separate video. I'm recording every single channel separately over here and may put this together in another video where on the other channel where I just show how to install Twitch, Twister OS. There we go, where I install Twister OS on a Raspberry Pi 500. So we'll see how all that works out. I got a little bit of travel coming up here at the end of the week, and we'll be gone for a week. Be good to take some video with me, and I can work on it while I'm traveling. So that could be kind of fun. So this is Raspbian OS, and again, if you've not seen these, let me go ahead and bring them up. So PiApps, this is great because what happens is PiApps will install software and do all the tweaks so that you know that your software is going to work appropriately on your Raspberry Pi. And I'll just hit all apps here so you can see some of the things that are in here. So some of these things you may have thought, I didn't know you could put that on a Raspberry Pi 5 because it's not in the Raspberry Pi software store. Or you go to load it, you get the Debian package and it says, hey, you don't have the resources for it, or you don't have the dependencies. This will take care of all of that for you. So if I decide to load Arduino, it would go ahead and load all my dependencies. It's got a script that does all that for me. Like Balana Etcher, that's another one that burns SD cards. We're not going to use that for this example because there's another default app built in, but if you wanted to install that, that would be a little more difficult without PiApps. And there's some really cool stuff on here. So you can just kind of go through here and browse, or again, you can use the categories and check it out. But you see all kinds of stuff. And really love the folks who maintain this. So that is one option. The other option is PiKiss, which is also very interesting. It does basically the same thing as PiApps, but it's in a terminal box. And you can see that we have tweaks, we have some additional games, we can install some emulators, multimedia configure, internet. Let me pull one up here that is near to dear all of our hearts, emulators. And you can see this section has partial 64-bit support. Scripts available include Amiga, Amstrad, Box 8664, Dolphin, Flycat, just all kinds of fun emulators that you might want to try on your Raspberry Pi. And it makes it easy to install. It's just make a selection, click OK, and you're off. So if I want to load Vice on this Raspberry Pi, I can do that quickly. Now, that's great. I love that. So again, take a look at that. But the reason I'm really interested in Twister OS is I don't have to go and load these manually anymore. It's included in the Twister OS distribution. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead first of all and find out how you get the Twister OS distribution. So I'm going to load up the web browser. And in my case, this is using Chrome. I am not logged in to any of my accounts though for now. So let's do a search for oh, wrong keyboard, Stephen. Twister OS. Should pop right up. There it is. And this is by Pi Labs. We'll go ahead and expand that. You can see transforming your Linux experience. So Twister OS and Twister UI are experience enhancements available for a variety. So it's not just Raspberry Pi. It does work for other single board computers or SBCs. So try and keep that in mind as well. Let's see. Just checking everything, make sure everything's working. So, but you can see it has these these themes. If you want your Raspberry Pi to feel like Windows 95, why? I don't know. But there you go. You can do that. But again, it does include some other things. So I believe, let's see, we need to download this. So hopefully we're going to be downloading live, but that's fine because what's going to happen is I'm going to check out chat. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on download now. We're going to click that link and we need to check and we need to select which version we're using. So it looks like this is the version for the Raspberry Pi 4, 400, 5, 500. Here's a couple of mirrors. We could also do a torrent. I don't have a torrent set up on this. It does show username and password. I am going to write that down. That is something we will want to remember. So user, those are standard, but I always want to write them down because I tend to forget which systems use what. Now we may get an opportunity to set that ourselves, but we'll need that for the default. So writing that down, got that. All right, let's see if we can download it and see if it'll download at least in a timely manner here. Let's go ahead and we've got a direct link or we can use a mirror. Let's see what happens when we click the direct link. I have no earthly idea what pCloud is. That's interesting. And we'll just hit download and see. Hopefully it's not going to take forever. Looks like it has started right here. Oh, that's not bad. 1 minute left. We can deal with that. Pretty cool. Okay, while we're doing that though, let me go up here and check with chat and see what you all are up to. And again, I can't put your chats on screen, so I'm just gonna, yeah, stream seems to be working great entire time today. Good job, Evil J. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I am, like I said, I am popping a few warnings here and there. Mr. Landfield's back. Hey, Mr. Landfield, good to see you. Glad to have you here. I use the standard Ubuntu boot disk creator to write ISOs. The trick some people miss is that some ISO you download are really disk images, and if you rename it to .img, it will write them fine. That is a good trick. I learned that many years ago, but it's not something I just think about anymore. So that's a good one, Evil J. Now, I'm going to show you how to use the Raspberry Pi image prepare, or their tool. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but we'll take a look at that. It's pretty slick, and it does some things for you that you may not be familiar with. We'll have to rewatch this later. Oh, I hate to see you, Mr. Landfill has to go. Taro, yes, he was here a little bit earlier. Let's see. I tried rewatching the last time. It's weird, dude. Yeah, Mislov said, he sent me a note and said, you know, it's really weird watching when it's not live. And that's because you guys are the ones in the chat room helping me, and you feel like you can't help. So you're used to that interaction with me. So I appreciate that. I actually like that. But, you know, I have a lot of people don't like live because they don't want me talking to the chat room. It's really weird. I've had negative comments from people say, why do you spend so much time talking to people in chat? Why do you put chats on screen? I'm glad you didn't put chats on screen. I wish you would put chats on the screen. I mean, it's just, you can't make everybody happy, which means I'm doing my job. If I'm not making everybody happy, I must be doing a good job, because I'm at least making somebody happy. So this is basically an emulated Amiga 500. What is? What's a basic? It could be. You know, I'm looking forward to Chris Edwards' Pi Amiga 5. Yeah, it's going to be really cool on this. I'm looking forward to that. pCloud is an online storage service, a good one actually. Oh, okay, good to know. Never used it. Well, I guess I shouldn't say never. Just used it. Or is the Raspberry Pi named 500? No, the Raspberry Pi is a Raspberry Pi 500. So this right here is the Raspberry Pi 500. So this is the upgrade to the 400. All right. Not leaving, just missed the beginning. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you can scroll back and you didn't miss it. Trust me, Mr. Landfill, you missed absolutely nothing at the beginning. All you be doing is watching me fluster around here. Okay. All right. Let's see how our download's going. Let's go back to our Pi. Is it done? Looks like it is done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reveal that in my file manager. I thought I was. Looks like Chromium does not like the file manager in Raspbian, which is really common. It looks like it went to my download. So let me go ahead and I'm going to minimize this. And I just want to make sure it's where it says it is. So let me pull up my file manager. Oh man, what in the world? That blew open a bunch of file managers. Oh, you know what? It finally picked those up, or that wasn't behind, was it? Was it behind the window? Maybe it was behind the window. Ah, that's what happened. It was behind the window. Okay, so if we look there it is in downloads. So we'll just kind of move that up here to remind us where that is. So then here's the tool we're going to use. So before we get started though, the first thing I want to do is, let me go ahead and go back to my top-down view. We're going to take our little reader here. Now this is really, I mean, I've got a micro SD card. I've got to go from this reader to this, and then I'm going to plug in the SD card that had Armbian. So this is all I'm using. This is really interesting. This is an old iFi USB card reader. It used to do some really cool things. I don't think it works anymore, but it would upload SD card photos directly from your camera via Wi-Fi to a service. I don't even think the service is active, but other than that, it makes a great SD card reader. So that's why you're seeing iFi. And I'm going to plug my micro SD card into here. Hey, if anybody remembers iFi, let me know down in the comments down below. That'd be interesting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plug this in to the Raspberry Pi 500. There we go. And get a little light to let it know it's active. Now let's go back over and make sure it has recognized that. And it says right here, removable medium is inserted. I'm just going to say okay. And you can see that. So that's the Armbian. Let me go ahead and close this out here. That's the Armbian distribution. You can see that here. So we'll just go ahead and close that for now. And then what we're going to do to burn the Twister OS onto the SD card. Oh, here they are right here too. You can see those on the desktop. See that right there? So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the Raspberry Pi menu. We're going to go to, I believe it's accessories, and then come down here to the Raspberry Pi Imager. By the way, this software is available on Mac, PC, and I think, well, of course it's Linux because Raspbian is. This thing is fabulous. If you've ever wanted to just explore different OSs on your Raspberry Pi, this is a great way to do it, and I'm going to show you why. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my device. And of course, we're using a Raspberry Pi 500. So what it'll do is it will narrow down the operating systems that will run on the Raspberry Pi 5, 500, and Compute Module 5. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my OS. Now, you all are saying, hey, Stephen, your OS is over here in the downloads area. That is correct, but I want to show you this too. If I go to choose OS, check this out. It shows you all the operating systems that it can go out and grab and download and make this a one kind of couple click process for you. So you can see just the regular Raspberry Pi OS, 64-bit, 32-bit if you wanted that. But if you were interested in other Raspberry Pi based images, you have light, full, and you have a couple of other options here. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is, what if you want other general purpose OSs? Like, and this is where I got Armbian. You can see that down at the bottom. But I can get Alpine Linux and Ubuntu. And these have all been configured to work on your Raspberry Pi. You don't have to do anything else. You can just click it and it will burn that to your ISO and and then it will burn that. Okay, I'll get it right here in a minute. You'll click that and it'll burn it to your SD card and you can use it. So we'll go back here. You also have media player OSs if you're interested in that. So we've got Libra, what is that? Volumio? Volumio, there we go, that's fun to say. We've got Mode Audio Player and Pi Choral Player, so a couple of media players there. You can also choose emulation and game OSs, which I'm sure a lot of you would be interested in. And it looks like the one that is the most optimized for this is Recalbox, which is the basis for a lot of emulator systems out there. So that's a good one to run as well. And then we also have other specific purpose OSs. Here's VEX Tournament Manager. So if you're doing a VEX robotics competition, you have that. Digital signage, if you need a digital signage and kiosks, you can do that. Kali Linux for those hackers out there, Web3Pi, Moodle for those of you doing some instructional design, instructional technologies, online education and training, home assistance, home automation, 3D printing. You can see we can go in here and there's even more. So there's DuetPi, Octopi, which I used to use before I got my Anchor 3D printer. So again, just a ton of really cool stuff on here for you to explore for your Raspberry Pi, all versions. So depending on which version of the Pi you choose, it'll provide a list of those options for you. Noticeably absent, as we talked about in the chat just a little bit, and I see in chat now, RISC-OS is not or has not been ported yet for the Raspberry Pi 500. It is available for the 400 and the 4, so you can run it there. Okay, so we're not doing any of those. Twister OS, which I kind of wish at one point Twister OS would be moved over. So if anybody from the Raspberry Pi I cannot talk today. If anybody from the Raspberry Pi Foundation is watching, I'd love to see you move Twister OS into here. But it's no problem, because what we're going to do is we are going to use a custom ISO image or a custom image. Now, you could erase your SD card as well, so that's an option on here. So let's click on Use Custom to use the custom image, and then you can see it automatically went to my downloads, which is a nice feature because that's where the Raspbian OX defaults to file storage. So we'll click that, and I'm going to click Open. And the next thing we want to do is choose our storage. So you got to be very careful on this, because internally I have 2 different SD cards, but it's pretty smart. It knows which one I'm looking for. You can see right there, it already shows you just the one. It says exclude system drives. Leave that checked and you're almost always safe. So we'll choose that. Question is, what are the differences between the 400 and 500? It's my understanding it is better than double speed of the 400. I think don't quote me on those benchmarks, but it's significant. I will tell you, in general usage, I have had this Raspberry Pi 500 set up with the Raspberry Pi official monitor, which I'm going to be sharing that a little bit more. That's a really nice monitor. I like it. Over in the other side of the lab over here, and just been using it for like surfing and just general use, and it has been great. It is amazing. But somebody, if you could find the benchmarks, it may not be twice as fast, but it may actually be twice as fast. I don't remember, but it is significantly faster than the 400. You can feel it. It's great. It feels like a PC that you can use on a regular basis, as long as you're not doing things like encoding video and all those weird things. So that's why I'm interested in Twister OS. How's it going to feel on this Raspberry Pi 500? Okay, let's get back to our menu here. Hey, Fabio, good to have you here. Thanks for popping in. Really good to have you here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click this next button. This next button does something interesting for most OSs, and I'm not sure if this is going to work on Twister OS, and I'll explain what those things are here in just a minute. Oh, here it is, and it does say that. So it says, would you like to apply custom... It says, what does it say? I'm not sure. It says, would you like to apply OS customization settings? So I can say no, yes, or I can say clear. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to do edit settings, because I want you to see what you can do right here. This is great, because what it does is it lets you automatically set the host name, lets you set the username and password for an account. You can go ahead and configure your LAN automatically. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to say, do that for me. And then you can choose your country, which a lot of times you have to do that within. So we can just get all that done in the beginning. So let me go ahead and, oops. Let's see, wireless country is US. Come on. Let me just see. Can I type U? Nope. Which way do I go? What is going on here? Let me see if I can scroll. Can I scroll this thing? I cannot. HIJKLMN. I gotta go this way. Okay, M. Hold on with me. Well, this is fun watching me scroll through a long list. I'm not sure why it's not automatically on US. It should be, because that's the last one that I used. And what it will do is it will save your settings from the last time you burned an SD card, as you can see, as a matter of fact, because it is saying, if I scroll up here, it's saying that this is Armbian. I don't want that to be Armbian. We're going to change that. Let's change the host name to Twister OS. There we go. And then we'll scroll down here. And I think that gets everything. Time zone, yep, that's, we'll go ahead and set the local time zone. So again, if this works, it's going to set all that in advance. Now I can also choose some services here. So I've got enable SSH. I always like that. Use password authentication instead of a keygen, or a public key. And then we have some additional options here. And we can say play sound and then save. So I'm going to go ahead and save. All right. Now, and then it says, would you like to apply OS customization settings? I'm going to say yes. And it says, all right, here we go. All existing media on this SD card is going to be erased. Are you ready to continue? I do. So I'm going to say yes. And then we're going to have fun watching the Raspberry Pi burn an SD card with an image file. Oh boy. Well, I'll go back to chat here. So if you got things to talk about in chat, I'll be coming back in just a minute. All right, let's go ahead and click yes. Now it needs my Raspberry Pi software. It needs software. It needs my I cannot talk, guys. Hold on. Time for a drink. There we go. Now it's asking for my Raspberry Pi password. Not sure why that was so difficult to say. And it is writing. Now this will take probably about 2 or 3 minutes. It's not that bad. So while this is going on, let's go ahead and check out chat. See what's going on in chat here. By the way, the last live stream, I don't know if you guys remember, I was having errors with the processor overheating, and so I don't have any of that. I shouldn't have said that, knock on wood. So, all right, so let's see. P Cloud, we talked about that. Raspberry Pi, not leaving. Oh, here we go. Back in my day, we didn't have Twister OS. We had to spin a mechanical dial to figure out where to put our hands and feet. Funny, Evil J. I've been using the RISC OS on my Pi 400 and kind of mini Archimedes. Yes, I installed the RISC OS on my Pi 400, and I really wanted to explore more, and I found that there was a way you could, I think, purchase some kind of license for some software. So Taro, maybe you can tell me a little bit about that, but it seems like there was an option for that. But RISC OS is also something I've been thinking about featuring on the channel at some point. So if you guys are interested in that and think that'd be kind of cool, let me know. That is cool. So the entire Raspberry Pi is inside a keyboard. Yes, that's exactly what you are looking at when you look at the Raspberry Pi 400 or 500. Everything is in here. And again, I really like the Raspberry Pi monitor because it just fits nicely right here. I promise you one day I will share that with all of you. But it's really cool. Noise, yes it is. Yep, no RISC OS there as we talked about. Talk about the differences. Good evening from hot Italy, Fabio. Italy's always hot, isn't it? Isn't it always hot? And I mean, not temperature-wise. I mean, Italy's just always hot, right? Taro says the Pi 400 was a breaking change from the Pi 300 and earlier, so porting software wasn't as straightforward. Yes, I think the same thing is happening with the Pi 5, Taro. I agree. Mr. Landfill, Michigan is in the north part of the U.S. and it's been hot everywhere because Michigan, Indiana, we're all down this Midwest corridor. Yeah, it's blazing. As a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons I chose to do a live stream today because it was so hot outside. I am going to try and run a little bit later and take the Retro Pup out for a walk, but I'm going to wait till about 7 or 8. And unfortunately, I have to go back to the paying gig tomorrow, so that's kind of a bummer. But I got a lot of work done outside yesterday, got some cleanup done. Yeah, I just have to wait till a little bit later. So we are not used to this much heat up in Michigan. No, you are not, Mr. Landfill. Can't you type? I tried typing you, Xander, and it didn't do anything. Usually you can type and it jumps around on the menu. So I'm not sure what's going on. That could be a Raspbian OS thing. If you did that on Mac, Linux, or Windows, that might work. It just may be part of the selector in the OS. Can we have some of that hot here? Barely 20 degrees Celsius in Finland. Oh, that is, well, it's not, well, yeah, it is a little cold in Finland. Having spent time in Alaska, which is, I think Finland would still be a little colder than where I was in Alaska. I kind of miss my cool summers, though. I like a cool summer. Summer in Alaska is fabulous, at least in the Anchorage area. It was fabulous. 93 in Texas, Evil J. I think we are, what are we right now? I think, let me pull up. I think we're not far behind. We are, well, it's just 87 right now. So it's usually a bigger disparity in temperatures, right? So that's kind of interesting. Hello, everyone. Totally forgot about today's live stream. Hey, Stuart, good to have you here. It's okay if you forget. I'm glad you popped in. Thanks for joining. Got about 17 folks who are interested in a little Twister OS on the Raspberry Pi 500, so that's kind of cool. Yes, welcome, Stuart. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Looks like I got caught up on chat. If you have any questions, be sure and put those in chat. And I think there's a way you can ask a question in chat and it'll pop up. I don't remember what that is, but if you want to do that, you can do that. And don't forget all those other things down at the bottom. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you want to send a super chat, you can do that as well. That's down below, all those types of things. So feel free to make use of all those fun tools down below. So let's go ahead and pop on over and see. Oh, it's verifying. You know, what's irritating about verifying is verifying takes longer than the writing. It's always such a pain in the neck. And it's writing 33%. Wait a minute. Are we still... Holy cow, what's going on? It said, now it's, oh, 34. Ooh, man, we're going to be here a while. I did not think it would take this long. As a matter of fact, this is really interesting because Armbian did not take long at all. So I'm not sure why this is going slower, but this is pretty slow, folks. I mean, we're only a third of the way. So knowing that, what would y'all like to do for the next, see, that took about 4 minutes. What would you like to do in the next five minutes or so? Ouch, I was not prepared to kill time. So let me think through this. We could always go back and try and troubleshoot and figure out where I'm streaming on Facebook. That could be a blast. I really don't want to do that. I am going to, let me check something here. Live Studio on Facebook. I am going to just check real quick and see if I can find out where this is. Try going on Facebook Live. Oh, I found, no, that's Facebook Live. That's not my stream. Again, I've kind of gone back to my Facebook thing here. Just to see if I can find out where I am streaming. I wish it would give me a link to the stream in the YOLO Live feature, the one that's simulcasting this, but it does not appear to do that. I know, I wonder why that is. I wonder, I still think it's odd that it says it's not connected to YouTube. That's just bothering me. But looks like we've had a pretty stable stream, which that is good news. I do like that. Let me see over on Twitch what's going on over there. We still have one single viewer, Evil J. Thank you for that. Nobody's popping over to check us out over on Twitch, so that's good. So I'm researching a little bit here. Oh, what's this? Sudo apt install Hollywood and run it. Oh, why not? Let's do it. Hopefully something won't bomb out here. Let's do that. That could be a lot of fun. Let me go ahead and pull up my terminal here. I hope it works. Are we sure that's going to work on the Raspberry Pi? It may not work. I'll be darned. Look at it. There it is. All right. Hopefully we don't break something. We don't want to break anything. Looks like my headphones are turned on. Let me turn those off. I'm kind of listening to myself. Got that done, so that's good. All right, so that's loading. What have you done to me? Who was this? Evil J. Evil J, is this going to be... You're not hacking into me all right now, right? It looks like we're at 61, 62%, so hang in there. I think we're probably tasking this thing. You know, what's really odd is I have just a little bit of latency in my mouse between my video capture device and what I'm seeing. So it's just a little bit odd. Hollywood. I do not know this one, Evil J. I hope this is good. I've seen the Star Wars, first Star Wars movie in Terminal, which is kind of cute and amazing. It'll work. Jamie says it'll work. Okay, if you say it'll work. And at least I can capture some footage of this too, which should be good. Let's see. Live. I still cannot go to your Facebook profile, click live video. You might find what's in your box under the options menu. Oh, really? I didn't think about that. Hold on, I may have found out where things are. Let me go here. What's on your mind? Under the options video, live video. Oh, here, oh, hold on. Here it is. I found something while it's loading up over there. It says go live, scheduled broadcasts. I wonder what would happen if I hit go live. I'm really curious now. Something's going on. Select media source. Webcam streaming software. Oh, there's a key. Oh, there it is. Looks like, but I thought I already did that. You got to do a streaming key and a RTMP, but I was pretty sure I already put that in. That's interesting. So I have to research that. Facebook, I don't know what that would even look like anyway. I'm done with it. Looks like we are done. So I'm assuming the command is Hollywood. Is that what we're doing here? Let me see. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, we're at 92%, so it seems like that would be good. All right, Hollywood, here we go. Oops, wrong keyboard. Hollywood. All right, let's see. What have you done to me, folks? Oh, this is cool. I'm closing up Twitch too. Get rid of that. What in the world? This is pretty cool. What do we got going on here? Bash, Hollywood, F1, F1 help, F2. Can I expand the menu? Let's supercharge this thing. There we go. Let me see if I can move. I can get you a better view. Hold on just a second. There you go. Hey, that's pretty cool. It's computing. Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. Look at this. So somebody put this together. This is pretty cool. You're right. Good one, folks. I'm actually glad I captured this. Something wonderful has happened. Your Pi is alive. Wow, that is fun. Now, is it repetitive or is there some randomness to it? Or is it the same? If I were to look at it, would it do the same thing over and over? And I'm curious, can I hit F1? Oh, F1. Ah, look at that. F1, toggle status notification, change escape sequence. Currently launches at login. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and exit that. And then I think I saw something. Let's see. Looks like it's spazzing out. The Gibson. It's being hacked. Something wonderful is throw on some Prodigy for yeah, no doubt. F2 setup. Let's see. Oh, interesting. I just took it out. No, wait. I'm still in. Wait a minute. F2. If I hit F2 again. Oh, it's a different terminal. I see that down there. Okay, I see what's going on here. I don't know if I can select one or not. Yeah. F1. There we go. And let's go ahead and exit. All right, so that's pretty cool. Thank you guys for that. I have to play around with that a little bit. Let's go ahead and close this up here. And you know what? We should install that on Twister OS when we get back to that too. So let's go back here. Looks like we are now going through that painful verifying process. I could have sworn it was verifying while it was doing that. Was it not? So we're going through that again. Hack the planet world. Is there a world map? I didn't see a world map. Let's go ahead and, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and bring it back. Got to drop out. Have a great day. See you, Taro. Thanks for joining in. I don't blame you. Not a lot to see here as we watch our SD card verify. I should have turned off verifying. Now, see, this is interesting. It's where it left off. How do I change my tab? Because it looks like I'm in a tab down here. How do I get back to one, the Hollywood tab? Wait a minute. Can I do right click? There we go. Previous tab. Previous tab. That's not working. That's a new window. Okay, so that's in. So it's using like terminate. How do I get? How do I exit? Terribly say exit those tabs. Type. Oh, just exit. Really? I was afraid to exit the whole thing, but I guess you're right. That would do it. Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. Don't get happy with your exit, Stephen. Let me move my thing here. I'm starting to hit it. And one more. There we go. Now we're back. That is a whole lot of fun, folks. Pretty cool. I don't know if there's any other features I need to know. It was blurry, but a couple of times a pixelated image came up that may have been a world map. Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering if it was actually going to make that a little more unpixelated, as you say, and see what it looked like. It's not putting up real data, is it? I don't think so. Yeah, that's a whole lot of fun. Thanks for sharing that one. That's one you just want to leave running in the background at work. 22%. Should we cancel the verify, folks? Oh, Mislav just said you can cancel the verify. I think I'm going to cancel the verify. This just, we're going to assume that everything's working. So let's finalize that. Your has been written. Continue. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and close this out. And we'll go ahead and leave Twister OS on here because I may want to come back to it at some other point. Now, here's the point where I'm going to shut down Raspbian OS. So let's go ahead and shut that down. And once it's completely, and it looks like we've got red right there, so it says we're going to go ahead and remove our SD card reader. We're going to take our micro SD card out. Set our reader aside somewhere. And then we're going to eject our Raspbian. Now, this is the other reason I actually really like Raspberry Pis is, everything's just on here. And so I can have multiple OSs. I can just load up a bunch of SD cards, micro SD cards right here, and I can quickly flop between them, which is really cool. Eventually, Mislav, there will be a Amiga Pi or Pi Amiga 5 right there. So looking forward to that. I think that's coming, at the end of the summer, early fall, something like that. Let's go ahead and plug in Twister OS. And I'm really excited about this because I've been looking forward to trying out Twister OS. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. And then we will hit the screen to let you see what is happening. All right, so let's go back. It may have to boot a couple of times. Armbian had to boot 3 times, had to go through a cycle, so it was running some scripts. Okay, that's a good sign. Something's happening. No signal. Looks like maybe it was okay, so I had this happen with Armbian. So you can see it's red. I had to turn it on again for it to, so I don't know if there's some initial scripts that are running. And then what you have to do is like expands the SD card, does some other things. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We're going to press that again, and then hopefully it's going to boot back up into Twister OS. Oh, are we doing some email exchange, Mislav? Oh, there we go, Twister OS. So Twister OS just loaded on the screen. Now see it shut off again. Looks like it didn't shut off, but looks like it's rebooting now. Yep, it actually went through the reboot process this time. Interesting, it did that one, shut down, had to restart it, and then this time it's actually rebooting itself. So there seems to be a little one. Boot, baby. You got it, Mr. Landfill. There it is, Twister OS. Well, I say there it is. We'll see if that's really it. Oh, see, it's doing some more stuff. It's probably configuring itself. Now, I set up the Wi-Fi. I really didn't need to do that. I failed to mention I have plugged in via Ethernet here. And there we go. All right. Enter your pass. Okay, so we do know from our book, we took some notes, and it said the username is Pi. Well, actually, it looks like that's already set up, so we need our password, I think, right? Password is down here, or is that it? Oh, it is. So our username is at the top, so it's Pi. Now I entered a username and password from my default configuration, but let's go ahead and do the original first and see if it kept that. Let's see if this logs in. Okay, so you can see it overwrote that Pi and Raspberry, the Pi being the login and the password, and the Raspberry being the password from that configuration setting I set up with the Raspberry Pi imager. We hope. Let's keep those fingers crossed. And so now we'll go with what my information normally is, which is my name, followed by my super secure password. And keep those fingers crossed, and let's see if that works. And there we go. So it did take all that information. So that's really cool that you can set all of that up. I like that. Now I don't have to remember the password. It's the same as what I always use. Now here we are. So it says connection established. You are now connected to wired, which is good. And I'm connected via Wi-Fi. I'm going to turn off. Oh, it doesn't show Wi-Fi up here. It looks like it's defaulted. Yeah, it looks like it's defaulted. Oh, it's actually, let me go ahead and disconnect my Wi-Fi for now. I don't want to use that. So we'll just go ahead and use our, now one of the first things I like is this thing over here is really cool. Check out the on-screen little widgets here in, Mac vernacular, but it's showing you your CPU usage on the cores. It's got your utilization of your disk space. That's pretty cool. And it looks maybe even like a network monitor. So that's really cool. All right. So it says, welcome Twister OS. Continue to set up some useful features. Visit links below, blah, 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 and do next. But before we do that, you can see over here, we have our trash can. I already like this setup better than Raspbian OS. I don't know about you. It's more modern. It's more like what I'm used to. So this is more like a Mac feel down here. As a matter of fact, you've got your lightweight, nice looking, powerful application launcher, Thunar, your file manager, which is much more robust file manager. You've got Chromium web browser here, which I like. Add remove software. So you've got the things down here you need. It looks like it's running XFCE right now. Mouse pad, and of course you've got Catfish file search. That's kind of nice. So if I click on that, I can immediately start to search for the things on my Raspberry Pi. That was pretty fast too. That's good. The other thing you can see here, PiKiss is already installed, which I love that. I shared that with you in Raspbian OS. Pi Apps is already installed. I love that. Oh, actually it says it's an installer. Yeah, let's see what we're doing here. Okay, so it's just going to, it doesn't install it by default, but it is an installer that installs it for you so that you don't have to remember the link and go out and get it. That's pretty sweet. At least you have the option whether you want to choose that or not. So let's go ahead and get PiKiss installed. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and cancel that one. So that one's in. Oops. Cancel. And E for exit. Let's go down there. Oh, just go down there. There we go. Exit that. And then check that out. Once it's done, it changes from PiKiss installer to just PiKiss. So I like that. So we should be able to just start it. Launch anyway. I guess I can mark executable, right? Yep. And then it's an executable going forward. So that's really nice. So it takes some of that new, those things that may be new to Linux users and other folks, and makes it a little bit easier for you. So let's go ahead and get Pi Apps. So this is the installer. So let's go through the install. Twister OS, already digging it, folks. I don't know what you think. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you're a Raspbian user, let me know in the chat. If you're watching this afterward, I'd love to know your thoughts on Twister OS versus Raspbian OS in the comments down below. Preloading the app list. It will exit in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Oh, interesting. Oh, it just moved it down here. For a minute, I thought it did not put it in there. So let's go ahead and move that back up here. There we go. And let's load it and see if it works. We'll mark executable. And there it is. So you've got all the apps that you want to load here for the Raspberry Pi. Again, all configured to run appropriately on your Raspberry Pi 500. And again, this is a port of Raspbian OS, is my understanding. So it's basically underneath Raspbian, but it's got this cool Twister OS features and UI on top. If I'm incorrect about that, I'm sure the YouTubers and you folks will let me know. I feel like we should do that same thing we did before. Let's pull up terminal. Now, it'd be interesting to see if NeoFetch is already in here. So let's see if NeoFetch. Yeah, NeoFetch is already installed in here by default, which is really cool, right? We didn't have to do that like we did with Raspbian. So just, again, a lot of really nice things already included. Looks like we're running our desktop environment as XFCE 4.18, and you see our Windows manager is XFWM4, which is perfect for a lightweight system. This is perfect. It's fast, it's speedy, it actually feels, I don't know why, it shouldn't, but it feels faster than Raspbian OS, which I just think that is odd. Uh-oh, I just lost, hold on a second, I lost my, let me get my window back here. Lost my chat there for a minute. Get that back, there we go. Okay, everybody's back now. All right, and let's see. Let's go ahead. Anything else? It looks like we have create a new user if we want to create a new user. So if you're going to have a multi-user system, that's good. And then, of course, you see it even has the Raspberry Pi recommended software, which is always very limited, which is why I like PiKiss and Pi apps. This is what you will find on Raspbian OS as well. So you can see just some basic things that they have. And a lot of these are education-based. Nothing wrong with it, just not a lot there. If you really want to know what you can load, use these two apps. Okay, we can do the themes. We can do that. I want to do that here in just a minute, but let's go ahead and go through our welcome menu here and see what we have. Raspberry Pi, launch Raspberry Pi configuration to set your password times. And you know what's, let me go ahead and close that. Wow, that went to Discord. I don't want to go to Discord. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, so it looks like we have a basics guide. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick since that link did bring up some interesting things. So there's your Twister OS FAQ. And I don't know about you, but things, they feel pretty spiffy, folks. You know, as I click, they're popping up. Community support looks like that is going to load a probably Twister OS Discord, I think is what we're seeing. Yep, if you want to join the Discord, you can do that. I might do that later. That could be an interesting one. And then if you want to get involved and help the Twister project, I'm sure that's what this one is. And again, I think these pages are loaded. Oh, it goes back to the Discord. Okay, so you can get involved through the Discord again. So those are loaded pretty quickly. Pretty nice. Let's go to next here. Now this is the Raspberry Pi configuration, which sets your time zone, your language preferences, Wi-Fi country, and disable overscan. Now, all of that except for enable disable overscan I did with the Raspberry Pi Imager, which is why I love the Raspberry Pi Imager. So again, if you're going to burn an image for your Raspberry Pi, really consider using that official Raspberry Pi Imager. Again, I think it's available for every platform. But let's just let you see what that looks like here if you needed to set that up yourself. And you can see it right here. So change your password. You can see your display. You can turn on overscan if you need to do that. Oh, we can turn on VNC, SPI. Now, the other thing I'll have to see is, can I use Raspberry Pi Connect on here? I love Raspberry Pi Connect. We'll check that out in a minute and see if that's available. Raspberry Pi Connect is a service provided by Raspberry Pi Foundation that lets you remotely connect via GUI or SSH to a Raspberry Pi from anywhere in the world. I use it all the time. I love it. So we'll check and see if that's available. We've got performance. Looks like we can change our performance overlay a little bit and speed things up. I do not do that. I don't like to do it. And then we can set all this. We've already done all that. So let me go ahead and cancel that. Let's go ahead and do next. Update. We can check and see if there are updates. Let's go ahead and let's hit it, guys. Let's just do it. Looks like we're good. So latest version, we are up to date. Very good. We might check something else here in a minute. Okay, now enjoy using Twister OS. You can always visit system settings to set. Let's choose our theme. Let's give that a shot. Change your theme. Want to look different? I would like to look different. let's change our theme here. Oh, here we go. All right, chat room. have any? Okay, so what we're on now, we'd have we'd also have light and dark modes for each one. So I assume we are. Let me. What are we? Yeah, let's change this to dark and see what happens. Press enter. Oh, got to log back in, of course. No problem, since I was able to set my default. Oh, that does look nice. Yeah, so there you go. There's a little dark mode there. I don't know that I necessarily... What do you guys... Where do you all fall on the light dark thing? Leave your comments in chat or down below. Let's go ahead and bring up our Twister themes here. Let's do next. So we are right now under Twister OS. Which one would you guys like to see? Any dark mode for life? There you go. Evil J likes dark mode. Dark mode all the way. Oh man, we have a lot of dark mode fans. I like it the majority of the time. I will say I do have on my Mac, I have it auto set. So what do we think? We want to check out Windows 95? Yeah. Let's see what Twister looks like Windows 95. I'm not going to do all of these. There are some really interesting ones. I am going to try just a few of them. So let's go ahead and definitely try Twister 95. And there we go. Oh my goodness. And we'll have to log back in. XP, somebody wants to see XP. Okay, I'll do that. I'm interested to see if this would even fake anybody out. Oh my goodness, that's horrid. That is so horrid. Don't show this message again. I kind of want to show that message again. Can I dismiss it? I can dismiss it. Look at that. Wow. Look, it's even got the little start window down here. Look at that. Looks like I do need a little overscan work there, don't I? It is kind of, I should probably bring that up. That is wild. Check it out. Games, accessories. That's something, folks. All right. I feel, oh my goodness, look at that. That's even horrible. That's actually pretty cool. Nicely done, Twister OS. Not that I would ever use that, but if we've got somebody out there who really loves Windows 95, that would be a good one. We're going to try Twister XP, since we had a request for that. Evil J, I think that is normal because it's got some system settings that it's changing along the way. These are pretty, if you look, these are pretty extensive changes that it's making. And I think whenever I applied themes on others, I always, oh man, that just, wow. That is pretty amazing. And you can tell what's really wild is I'm sure the resources are all to the default size. And when we had Windows XP in 95, we really didn't have these high DPI displays. And oh, check it out. It's even got the side loader. Look at that. That is pretty impressive. It's not an interface I would ever want to use again. Actually, the best of all the Windows interfaces, I will say that. XP was my favorite for sure. And I am not going to load 7 for fear that it will crash my machine. A little Windows dig there. I do want to, oh look, 10's on here too. Twister 11's on here. I do want to do Twister X, which should be we'll do dark, we'll do light because that'd be more like that one. This should be like my favorite, which is OS X. See what this looks like. Okay, I'm gonna want a suggestion from chat. Which one should I stick to for the rest of the video? Okay, so you guys start thinking about that in chat. There's 20 of you watching. I should have at least 10 recommendations for which one of these I should use for the rest of the demo. And I can't type my name on this keyboard. There we go. Oh, wow. Holy smokes. Dang. This is really, this is what usually gets you is the menu up here. This usually is what is not really well, yeah, that's not quite right, but that's not normally done correctly. But look, you can even see the menu bar. We've got our launcher down here. Now it doesn't get the little Genie stuff, but you know, it's not bad. Looks like an image viewer. Here's our settings manager. Let's bring that. Oh yeah, it's close. It's like an older version of Mac, but still pretty close. I will say that. Hey, Org, good to have you here. Thanks for joining and thanks for putting in your vote. Which Plasma? Which one's Plasma, Cosmic? Wait, what are those? Are those versions of Windows? Are you guys, because I don't do Windows, guys, you know that. That was pretty cool. Check it out. Let me load up Chrome. I want to see, or Chromium, I guess is really what it is. Oh, look, it tried to do a little something there. We'll go ahead and close that. And it does. Oh, it does. Look at this. It skins the. Oh man, that is fabulous. It actually skins. Now it's got a little something there going on. See that? See that little break right there? So a little something wrong with it, but still, a lot of times when you skin and try and do a Mac, you get these still over here, and it's just a mess. So looks like I have just a little bit of work to do, but still, that is pretty impressive. Now, and the menus are up here. That's pretty phenomenal because a lot of times, again, what happens is the menus stay up here on top of the window. So they've even been able to get the menus from the apps to appear up here. I could see myself using this just because it'll feel more familiar with what I work with every single day. That is pretty nice. I'm going to try something here. So that fixes my little menu there. Let's see, does it genie down? No, it doesn't genie down, and it doesn't have a little thing showing you it's running, so that's interesting. But still, a very good approximation. Very good. Here's a little about. If they put the little about up there, that'd be good. All right, so here's our about. We have displays. Here's our, oh, that's pretty nice. It's got the display preferences. I don't know. Well, let me change. Oh, look at that. I can actually do some changes there. Not bad. Can I get to overscan? Can't do that there, but that's pretty Mac-like too. That is pretty cool. Here's our storage. 18 gigabytes available. Here's our memory. It's not registering my memory. That's interesting. And then if I want support, there you go. You can go to Twister. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's do one more. Let me close this. Let's do one more theme, and then I'll see what you all wanted to do there. That is so good. Wow, that is so good. Let's see. I had to reload. Jinx me probably. Cosmic 95. Stream froze. Wait, did it freeze for anybody else? No, works fine here. Okay, good. Thank you, Xander. Appreciate it. I was getting a little concerned there because we are over the hour, and this is usually where we start to have some issues. So, all right. Let's do Plasma. Oh, I see Plasma. Let's do Cosmic. Let's do Plasma down here. Let's do it dark. And this may be where we just stick. I do like the themes. What do you guys think about the themes? Kind of liking it. Let me get back up here. No issues with the Twitch stream. So yeah, it should be fine. All right, for the last bit of this, we are going to just see what's included with Twister OS. Oh yeah, see, I kind of like this. Let's go. I'm going to use this one. I like this one. I'm going to say don't show this message again because this looks like it gives us our Twister, and it also gives us our information about the CPU and some other things over there on the side. That's pretty cool. And it looks like I can get to most things. All right, let's see what comes included with Twister OS by default. So we have our settings. So we have About Me. We have Accessibility, Add Remove Software. I'm curious. Let me see what that one is. So that is a full kind of package manager. That's interesting. Yeah, that's getting us a full Debian package manager. So if you want to load other things, now this will not ensure that things are able to run on the Raspbian or Debian base, but again, these will make sure everything works. So there's probably most of the things that are in here are probably not in here. I'm just curious. Is Vice in here? Yeah, so for instance, Vice is not in here. So most of the things that aren't in here are probably over here. So maybe most of these things will work. We've got some games here. Yeah, you can see that. So there's a way that you can add some additional software. So that is a cool feature there. We also have, going back to our accessories, let's see, our settings. advanced network configuration, appearance, Bluetooth adapters, all the standard stuff that you need. Our desktop, that's definitely the XFCE desktop manager. You can change that. You can change your keyboard, your mouse and touchpad. You can control that. Your panel. Here's your Pi apps settings. Here's your Pi configuration. So that's nice. They put all that together because sometimes those are all over the board on some of these distributions. So I really like that. There's our Twister themes, Windows Manager. So you have a lot of options that you do not have with Raspbian OS. So that's really nice. Let's check out accessories. Archive Manager, Catfish File Search, we saw that a little bit earlier. A calculator, that's really nice. Menu editor, so we can change menu. There's Pi Apps, Pi Kiss, Raspberry Pi Diagnostics. There's the imager, very good. So we could load the imager up and we get that here. That is great. Would you like to visit? No, not now. We'll do that some other time. So there is a later version. So that's really nice. I like that. So we do get a lot of the same things we have in Raspbian, which we should since it is kind of a port of Raspbian. We have the SD card copier. That's handy if you want to make a backup of your SD card, so you can do that. What games? Just DOSBox is all we have, so we could do that. Graphics doesn't include any of the heavyweights like GIMP, but you can load that. So there's that. Internet, just the web browser, which I like. That's the one I use. I'd prefer that over Firefox even. Multimedia, looks like we have VLC, so we can get anything. Office does not include LibreOffice, which again I like because that gives us the option to choose what we want to do. So, and then system. I'm not sure why that's here and there. It's in a disk usage. There's DOSBox. It's interesting. Some of these are Gparted. You need that. HTOP, NeoFetch. Here's NeoFetch. Let's do that one. Oh, didn't run. That's interesting. A little bit of an error there. Looks like the terminal's not running there. Let me pull up terminal again. Let's see. Is FastFetch on here too? Nope, just NeoFetch. Not sure why we had that error from the menu, but maybe work it out. And system, and on there. Doesn't look like Raspberry Pi Connect, maybe. Let's see. Oh, it does have Wine. Look at this. It does include Wine if you want to try and run some Windows. Oh, it's got Wine Tricks too. So it's got all the Wine packages you need if you want to try and run some Windows software. That's a nice addition. I'm not sure how well that's going to work on an ARM-based system. I don't know if anybody's tried that. Let me know if you've tried that. I do not see, I'm a little concerned. Let me go to all applications and see if Raspberry Pi Connect is on here. It is not. So maybe that has to be installed separately. I think I can do that in the terminal. Let me see if I can do that, because I do think that's important. Sudo apt install Raspberry. I think is it Pi? Nope, that's not right. Hold on. Let me do a little search here. Let's just use our Chromium browser to figure that out. Let's see, it is, what is the name? Let's blow this up a little bit. I think it is, let me go back. Where is it? Ugh. I used it with Diet Pi the other day, and I just can't remember the actual... Why isn't it sharing with me? Now, see if I did the same search in Google, I bet it'd pop right up. Oh, and I didn't. Wrong keys, because I haven't mapped my keys yet. All right. There it is, RPi Connect. Ah, sudo apt install RPi Connect. There we go. Let's get that baby loaded. That is one of the first things I think everybody should do if you want to access your Raspberry Pi remotely. Use tab autocomplete. Yes, I know I should have. You're right. Oh, KDE Plasmy. Plasmy? Is it Plasma or Plasmy? Is it Plasma? I'm running Plasma 6.5 dev builds and doing my daily updates recompile. Wow, as I'm watching this. Good for you, Evil J. I do love Linux. I will say that. If I had to choose between Windows and Linux, that's an easy one. If I have to choose between Windows or Linux and Mac, that's harder because I have Homebrew on my Mac and I get a lot of the same features that I get with Linux. But I get all the goodness that is the Mac software and that ecosystem. I really love Mac software. Okay, there it is. Let's see if it loaded up automatically here. Should be under, let's just go to all apps and connect. Nope, looks like it is a, oof, did not install it for me. Let's see. Let's see if it's in here. So you have to turn it on and then sign in. Oh, so it's, I wonder where there's a GUI for it. I wonder, let's see, did I forget something? Is there another piece I should have had? Finally, reboot your Pi with sudo, to activate it. Okay, we need to reboot. Let's go ahead and do that. This shouldn't take too long, so let's go ahead and do that. And let's activate our service. So that'll be a good chance to see how fast this thing reboots. So we'll come down here to power. And, well, that's shut down. Do I not have a reboot option? Is this reboot? What is this? That's just sign out, isn't it? Log out? There it is. You have to do log out to restart. Okay. We'll do that. Let's see how fast it boots. Now we don't have to go through multiple boots. It's a little slower than Raspbian OS, but that is not bad. That is not bad. All right, let's see if it starts Raspberry Pi Connect for us. It says it will start the service for us. Let's see, there's battery. I'm not sure it did. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I will work on that, but I don't know that it did. Let me pull up my terminal here. Cannot start Raspberry Pi Connect. Okay, I'll have to work on that. Not sure why that's not working. It's probably just something I need to do. Okay, so that is something I will work on and see if I can get that going. Finally, let's see. Did we get through everything? I think, folks, that is, oh, look, when it rebooted, it actually filled in these widgets over here with our little dials. I think I'm going to leave it on this theme. I like this for now. What do we have here? Looks like that's kind of interesting. When I click, the little windows are opening below. That's not good for that one. Bluetooth is opening above. That one is, the network is opening above. Battery, is that battery? Let's go to settings, see. Yep, that's just our power settings, so that's working. But whatever this is over here, I'm not sure what this is. I can't highlight. It's going down below, so not sure what's going on there. I have to check that out. And then our date and everything's working, so that's okay. So you know what? I think I like the first theme better. Let me go back to the very first one, because I think everything was working just a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and we'll do dark. We'll just do the standard Twister OS for now. I feel like it's more fleshed out. Yeah, let me try that. That might be a good thing to try. Hold on. Let's give that a shot there, Evil J. There we go. That seems better. So there's my, yep, okay, that's good. Switch use. Yeah, this just seems a little more fleshed out here. Don't show, don't show. Network, okay. And let's go ahead and bring up our terminal. Can I move these? I can't drag them, so I have to figure out how to move them. All right, let's see if I can give that a shot. Move this keyboard here. Sudo system. System CT. There we go. RPi. Huh, it's not finding it. That's bothersome. Oh, forgot status. So we can find out what's going on. Service cannot be found. I wonder if I have to sudo RPi connect. That would seem odd. Let's try that. Turn that on. Cannot start Raspberry on. Oh, I had this happen on Diet Pi. So now that's just saying don't do it as root. So let me pull it back here. Yep, cannot start. So I'll do some research on that and figure out why that isn't loading. I'm sure others who use Twister OS are using that. Let's do one more fun thing so that you guys can see it. We're going to go to PyKiss. And I want you to see one of these. I'm going to go ahead and load our emulation. And I want you to see how this works. Come down here to Vice. It says Commodore 64, but it is Vice. So you get all the variants. Hey, Neil, good to see you. Neil is newer to the Discord. Thanks, Neil, for popping in our Discord and joining us there. We're about done here. You came here just in time, Neil. Just in time for me to get out. We're finishing up, and I'm trying to load Vice on Twister OS. And then we'll start to wrap things up here. And everything technically, as far as the stream, went pretty well today. I've got some warnings over here, but that didn't seem to break anything, which is good. But again, I think based on what I'm learning more and more, I'm not going to be multi-streaming to Twitch and to other places. It will just be Facebook going forward. So I'll probably start to do that. Does it download the ROMs or will you need to copy them over? This one, I believe, because here's the deal. Because we are using PyKiss, it will actually grab the ROMs. If we tried to do it manually on a Raspberry Pi, we wouldn't be able to do that. All right, so now it's going to go ahead and run a game if I just hit enter. So you can see what it looks like. I'm not sure if we get the sound or not. There we go. Let's see if we get some sound here. Oh, I hear sound. You guys hear sound? You're not hearing the sound? Okay, let me see if I can figure out why, because I'm hearing it. That's interesting because I hear it. So you should be hearing it. Let me see. What about that? Can you hear it now? Okay. Yeah, I had to really crank it up. Oh, you know why? Hold on. I know why. Hold on. Let me pull this down. Let me pull my volume up. Yeah, I'm really low. There you go, guys. Now you can hear it. Pew pew. There's sound. Yes, Ms. Love. Let's see. Fire was space, I believe. There we go. Okay, I believe it's P to go right, O to go left, Q up and A down. Man, I wish I had a joystick. This is a weird control structure, that's for sure. Okay, I think I need to go over here. Y'all didn't know you get some retro in this, did you? Here we go. Level 1 complete. Boom. How about that? Well, that's a whole lot of fun. Now, if you want to make the changes, what you do is you hit, let me show you this. This gets a little more difficult. You have to hit function and I think it's F12 on this. So let's see if that's right. Yeah, there you go. And then you get your settings for Vice. So there's no GUI menu, but you do get the Vice menu here, which I kind of like this. So you can make some changes. You can change your video setting, your sound settings. We can turn off our emulator. Let's turn off CRT emulator here. Say none. And there you go. And then go back. And you can see it's cleaner. There you go. So let me go ahead and close this. There you go. And enter to go back to the menu. And then we'll cancel that. And then we'll exit. Come down here and hit exit. So if you want to load your, let me get out of here. If you want to load your Vice emulator, that's the way to do it on a Pi. And it's a really good installation. So I really dig that. Now, if you go to your menu, I think it's normally under the, is it under games? I think is where it sticks it. Yeah, it sticks it under games along with your DOSBox emulator. So if I do Vice here, it'll load that. And you can see at the very top up here, it tells you press F12. Now it didn't save my settings because I didn't resave those. So every time you go into F12 and you change something, you'll need to save your settings if you want to do that. But you can also, we can change our machine settings. It's not just, I don't believe it's just 64, or maybe this one is. Oh yeah, maybe this one is just a Commodore 64. I thought we had, oh yeah, this one is. That's interesting. I thought you could also change to VIC-20 and the other ones, but it looks like this version is just the C64. So at least it got the greatest. Hey, I'm really curious. Let's load up the Max machine here. And oh, there it went. Interesting. There's the Max machine with no cartridge. Just got it. Launch XVIX for the VIC. Oh, is that in there? Is that right? Let's see. XVIC, huh? Let's see if it's in there. I don't know if it will load or not. Because I think, let's see, XVIC. Yeah, not in there. I'm not even sure if, yeah, I'm not sure how it's, how X60, was it X64? Yeah, I don't know where they are. So anyway, there you go. At least you can get C64, and there were some other emulators in there as well. If you're curious about emulation on your Raspberry Pi and you want to do that. And of course it will read .d64 files, the Vice will. So you can see we can do an Amiga, but again, I think on the Raspberry Pi, if you're going to do Amiga, you just wait for Pi Amiga 5. You can do Amstrad, Box 64, which is on here, Dolphin, which is game. I don't do any of those. Wouldn't do that. Game Boy, probably not. No, MAME, I might do that. OpenMSX is kind of interesting. I'm not sure what Pi FBA is. That's interesting. PCMU. Oh, there you go. If you want to do an old AT class. PS1. Now that would be interesting. I actually would love to go through the whole Medal of Honor series on the PS1 again at some point. And there's RetroArch again. Red Dream. Scum is on here. So pretty cool. Oh, there's a Speccy emulator. Oh, why not? Let's load up the Speccy emulator for all my folks across the pond. Do you want to play Ninja Jar? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's play Ninja Jar and see if this thing's working. Oh, look at that. You know, this is interesting because I was just looking at the Spectrum. Well, you can't see because I'm not full screen, but I was looking at that this morning. Oh, I have no earthly idea what to do. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's do one for keyboard. We'll do 1 to play. There we go. I don't know. Here's our tutorial. I don't know what the keyboard. A is left, D is right. What's jump? S is jump? No. Space is jump? Nothing's jump. How do I go up? How do I jump? Oh, I just hit something. I don't... Okay. Oh, game over. I did something wrong. Please let it be a ninja game where you kill Jar Jar Binks. I like that, Evil Jack. All right, so there you go. Now we've got a Specky portable on there. Let me go ahead and close this and show you where that is here. So if we go back to games, here's our Specky. And there you go. Looks like 128. Looks like it. That's a pretty nice emulator. 128 calculator 488 TR DOS. Here's our tape loader. Yeah, press break twice. I think that's escape. Oh, escape brings up our menu so that we can make our changes. Very nice. All right. Okay, so, folks, I think that's it. That's our look at Twister OS on the Raspberry Pi 500. And not only did we load Twister OS from Raspbian using the Raspberry Pi 500, we eventually got even a couple of retro emulators on there for the Commodore 64 and the Specky. How cool was that? Well, this was a very fun way to spend a Sunday afternoon. So I want to thank all of you for joining me online. Let me see if there's anything left in chat that we need to discuss. I'm starting to get a little hungry. I may have to go upstairs and find a little something to eat. Let's see. I have to go. It's been a blast. It's always a blast, Ms. Love. It's late for you too. So give my email to Jamie. Oh, okay. Got that. I will try and make sure and do that. Yeah, do it via the file browser, Games, Vice, Xfig. Yeah, it didn't show up under the file browser. Those aren't in there, so I think it's just that. We'll look at other ways. I know there are other ways to run full versions on there, so just not sure why we got this weirdness going on. So let's see. Looks like the graphics from Tinbar Macabre, I think. Be safe, everyone. Enjoyed it. Take care, folks. Great stream. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Xander. Hey, again, thank you, everybody. All right. Hope you enjoyed this look at the Raspberry Pi 500 and Twister OS. That is it for me, folks. Retrocombs out. See you guys next time. All right. Now this I'm going to go ahead and turn off recording. And I think I've got enough good content here. I think I'm going to punch all of this out. So none of this will be on there, obviously. I'm going to punch all this out so that I just have a video on installing Twister OS on the Raspberry Pi 500. What do you guys think in chat? You think that'd be good? And should I also include the back end where I do a couple of the emulators, or should I just get rid of that and get right to it? I think once I do this whole video, it's only going to be about, once I cut all the stuff out, all the mistakes, everything, it's probably only going to be about 15 minutes, right? Right? I think that's about all it's going to be. So, and again, just for you guys, I am still working out some kinks on this studio thing, but at least today we had a good solid stream. But I think this is the last time I try and multicast, as I've said. So make sure that down below, make sure you are doing that thing where you hit like, subscribe, or not like, but subscribe and alerts. And also, if you really want to know when I'm going to go live and you're not sure, the Discord is the way to do it. So if you want to support the channel, join down there below using the YouTube membership, or you can go to Buy Me a Coffee for a short period of time. As a matter of fact, don't use that. Use down below. I've got C64 where you can join. As I said, I am traveling next week for business for the paying gig. There will not be a live stream, but I do hope to do a little something for you based on the destination where I'm headed. So be on the lookout for that. Folks in Discord, you'll know before everybody else what's going on, but I do hope to share maybe a few fun things with you on the travel. So if you're interested in that, you can support the channel and do that. So there we go. I think we're good. Xander, remember, send me your email address if you want to join the Discord. You've been such a great supporter. I'd love to get you in there for the conversations afterwards. All right. Okay. Now that is it. I'm out of here, guys. I'm going to get out of here, pull this video, continue my work on Chapter 7 of the User's Guide Manual. It's almost done. Hopefully get that out. Won't go today, but hopefully this week before I leave, and start working on some other videos. I got a lot of video to edit. That's it. All right. See you guys. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Fun time.